Hey guys, it's CWillyHD here, and welcome back to Game Breakers. This time on our Super Mario Sunshine series, we'll be covering glitches in Delfino Plaza. This area has a whole lot of glitches in it, from reaching an unused room, getting out of bounds, invisible fruit, and more. So let's get into it. Behind the Shine Gate, you'll find this fence and a pool of water. Swim near the fence and begin pressing B repeatedly. One of three things can happen. You can bonk and land in the pool of water. This really isn't too great, but we are walking underwater. Second, you'll bonk at the bottom, fall out of bounds, and land in the sewers. This is definitely the worst outcome as you don't really accomplish anything. But the third and best case, you'll shoot down, then fall out of bounds, and land below the water. You're now free to run around under the plaza. You can water slide all around the ocean, and bonk off boats which have collision all the way down here for some reason. I came over near Gelato Beach and noticed this pillar was completely missing an area in the back, which allowed me to walk right into it. I tried going back here normally, and there's collision blocking your way when swimming. But anyway, once you're done exploring, you can get things back to normal by heading back to shore or one of the islands. Up next is getting out of bounds and under the water with Yoshi. Grab the fruit he needs, hop on, and bring him to this roof in the middle of the plaza. We want to spin jump, aiming for a certain spot where the wall and the roof meet. After clipping through, three things can happen again. You'll pop back through to the other side back in bounds, land in the sewers, or actually fall below and land in the void. This is what we want, so keep jumping to avoid dying. Now you just gotta head for the ocean and hop back up when you're close enough. We're now under the water again, this time with Yoshi, which is pretty neat on its own. You can do a lot of things that we did before, but the most useful thing is heading for the lily pad ride pipe. Simply run up onto the island as you don't need to jump up or anything. And there you go, you skipped all of the pain that riding these boats around the water cause. If the back of the building isn't working, you can also spin jump at the front too and aim for the same spot. You'll get the exact same results as before. If those two ways aren't cutting it for you, I've got one more method. Grab Yoshi again and bring him over to the fruit stands. This one all the way in the back has a pole that we're going to be using. Turn the camera so it's angled pretty hard and hold L to sidestep into the wall. If the angle is sharp enough, you'll pop right through and out of bounds. Now you can do the same thing as before and head for the water. You can do this glitch with just Mario alone, but you can't get enough height to actually get back in bounds under the water. However, speedrunners use this trick to get into the sewers and grab blue coins faster, so if you really want to, go for it. Up next is a pretty cool one. It allows you to turn Delfino Plaza kinda invisible. All you need is the rocket nozzle, so grab it and come over to the blue coin hut. Push Mario up against this wall next to the door and begin charging the rocket. You want to try and get as close to the door frame as you can, and as you're about to blast off, hold forward. You'll teleport inside the room, and now you have to dive up and over the barrier. When you land, you'll now be in a glitched Delfino Plaza, with all the buildings and ground textures gone. You can see all the NPCs, shines, and coins, but there still is collision, so you don't have free reign over the place. It actually makes it a little harder to navigate if you don't know where you are. I was able to get over to the fruit stands and use the out of bounds glitch from earlier too. So why does this glitch happen? Well, when you enter the blue coin hut, you don't just walk into the room. You actually get warped up into an invisible room in the sky. But you can tell you warp because Mario's movement changes while you teleport. So by using the rocket nozzle right next to the warp zone, you'll still fly up above the room and you can dive over before the game renders the plaza back in, and this is the result. You can actually see it while in the glitched version. When you want to exit the glitch state, just enter a level, which looks pretty funny by itself. This next one is kind of a pain to set up. We need to enter the lily pad ride with the rocket nozzle. To do this, we need to spray the barrier with Yoshi and then go back, grab the rocket nozzle, and then enter it. I used the out of bounds trick from earlier, so I skipped riding the boats. Once inside the level, we need to fall off the side, charge a rocket, and then blast up so you hit the floor. Mario will just pop right through and land under the water. You're now free to explore as much as you want, just make sure not to jump too high or you will die. Speaking of which, how do we get out? Well, a normal jump will kill you, but if we use a rocket nozzle again, you'll be perfectly fine. This doesn't really make the level any easier though, as you still need to collect the red coins. Now on to fruit storage. Go to any fruit while riding Yoshi, press B followed by X shortly after. This will cause Yoshi to tongue the fruit, but since we hopped off, he never finished eating it. You can now get back on Yoshi, go anywhere, and then press B to finish eating the fruit. There aren't really any limits to this either. You can store the fruit, kill Yoshi, get a new one, and press B to get the fruit back. Speedrunners use this trick in runs, but it can still be fun to mess around with. On the topic of fruit, you can create an invisible one. Pick one up and bring it near the water. As it's flashing and about to disappear, throw it in. You see it poof and then splash, which means we got it. You can now go back to where you picked it up and claim your invisible fruit. Mario just stands there with his arms off to the side. You can run around with it, throw it, somehow manage to find it, and pick it back up. If you throw it into the water, it will still stay invisible when it spawns back in. You can even store the fruit with Yoshi. While doing this glitch, I had another great idea. I grabbed the rocket nozzle, ran over to the hut, and made the plaza invisible. Now we're holding an invisible fruit inside of an invisible Delfino Plaza, which is pretty great. Like I said before, if you throw the fruit into the water, it'll stay invisible, but if you pick it up and let it despawn, it will come back as a normal one. Okay, so this will be the last fruit related glitch. It's the same one we did in Serena Beach by wall clipping. You normally need the turbo nozzle to grab the shine in this room, but all we need is a banana. Pick one up and bring it over to the building. Stand here about 2 tiles away and place it up against this diagonal wall. Now just slide off the wall, and once Mario hits the banana, he'll just clip right through. You can now collect the shine earlier than you normally could if you didn't unlock the turbo nozzle yet. Next up is rocket storage. You can store as many rocket blasts as you want and release them all at once. Grab the nozzle and find a ledge. Line Mario up next to it, and with the squirt nozzle out, click down L. This will put you in sidestep mode. Now switch to the rocket nozzle and begin pressing down R just before it clicks. If it does click, it won't work. Just before you're about to blast off, let go of L. This will store the rocket, and we can now repeat the process. Once you're happy with how many you've stored, sidestep off the edge. Mario will fly up into the air, and obviously the more rockets you stored, the higher you'll go. You can get a pretty cool view of the plaza before landing back on the ground. There are a few more things we can do here. You can stand by the sprinkler to have it constantly refill your water tank. You could technically store an infinite amount this way. Over here you'll find the breaking box minigame. If you come back out and get on the roof, we can use rocket storage to reach the glitched room. Store 3 to be safe, sidestep off the edge, and hold left. Mario will land inside the room with none of the textures loaded in, so you can now do the minigame in the sky. Like I mentioned in the invisible Delfino Plaza glitch, the room is stored above the actual entrance, so by blasting up high enough, you're able to reach it and confuse the game. There's one last room we can reach with rocket storage. Collect 10 coins and then head for the airstrip. Come over to the building and store 2 rockets here. Blast off and you might catch the room as you're flying up. As you're coming back down, aim for the roof of the building and you should land inside. You're now inside an unused room of the airstrip. There will be these 2 little swiping stews and doors that you need the turbo nozzle to break. There's also some random collision that were probably supposed to be the objects in the room. You can see them when spraying water around too. It's a pretty neat trick to reach a room that you're never supposed to see. One final thing you can do with rocket storage is getting on top of the Pachinko level. Store 2 rockets, blast off, and aim for the top. The physics are still a little glitchy as Mario just slides around to the middle. You can get off by hopping towards the back. Normally you can't run around in Mario Camp, but with the turbo nozzle you can. Enter the view and slightly hold down R. The nozzle won't charge and Mario will begin running around with this new camera angle. You can do this anywhere in the plaza. You can kick around a durian like a soccer ball and swim in the water too. It's nothing too crazy, but it is cool seeing the plaza from this angle. You can collect shines at different angles. When presented with one, side flip into it, and as you're falling, you can enter Mario Cam and spin around. Then when the cutscene starts, Mario will be facing a random angle. You can do this with any shine in the plaza or the game for that matter. So that's all for today's episode. If you enjoyed, please drop a like and subscribe. This is our last video on the Super Mario Sunshine series, so I want to thank you guys for the support on this whole project. It's something I've wanted to do for a while, and I'm glad I was finally able to deliver. If you missed any of the other episodes, there will be a playlist on screen now. I covered each world in the game and showcased a lot of crazy glitches, so I highly recommend them. But for now, I'm gonna get up out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, see ya!